Hi there, I'm Sam Sorbo with The Accidental Homeschooler, and this whole week and last week I'm talking about 10 steps to approach making the decision to educate your children at home. Please don't make the decision now. I mean, okay, if you're totally like over the head over heels, then obviously dive in. But if there's just that smidgen of doubt, maybe I want to do that this fall. Maybe it's something that I should consider. Maybe I should just consider it, right? So that's what these videos are geared to. And if you've already made the choice, then great. These are some of the steps that you can take to getting started. Yesterday we talked about assessing your space, taking a look at what do you have to work with that you can conform a little bit more to make it more conducive to education. And by the way, not necessary, but what I discovered, and I go into this in my book a little bit, is that it is about discipline. It's about discipline of the parent as much as it is about discipline of the child, however. Education, home education, is as much about the parent learning as it is about the child learning to a large degree. And if it's only you learning about your child so that you can better serve your child, right? So to that end, because we are creatures of habit and because of the way that we've been raised and because of our work ethic, I would say that sort of delineating a space and making that the space for sort of the primary part of where education starts in the home is a good idea, just because it imposes a little bit of a discipline and an organization to it. And so when you are organized, you can't get somewhere if you don't buy a ticket. You got to buy the ticket. And so one way to buy the ticket is to make the plan, and a space, a dedicated space, is part of the plan. And it doesn't have to be a huge space. I totally don't advocate for take over a room of your house and make it look like a school room. Don't do that. Please don't do that. But just have a dedicated space. You know, some people have a dedicated prayer room. Some people have a dedicated reading chair, right? This would be a dedicated education center. And it doesn't have to look like anything different. You just have to know in your head that that's where you're going to be. Okay, so today we're going to talk about assessing your children and what their needs are. How are you going to do that? You've never taught kids before. You don't know what they need. Or do you? You know what your kids need. You know, because you went to school, you know that you want them to read and write. You want them to know some history. You want them to understand math concepts, right? The easiest way, seriously, the easiest way to start home education is to go buy some workbooks. And in fact, I highly recommend get some workbooks to go through over the summer. I'll give you a tip. I took my kids, when we first started, I took them to Barnes & Noble, which of course, okay, maybe not right now, you can't do that, but you can think about it, or you can go online. But I took the kids to Barnes & Noble, and I looked through the workbooks, and they were busy looking at stuff. And then I brought them over, and I basically gave them the choice of a couple different workbooks that I had pre-screened, because there's some crazy stuff in the books these days. There really is. And so it might be hard for you to find a workbook that doesn't have messaging in it with which you disagree. And of course, it's a workbook. So if you come across it while you're doing the workbook, you just rip it out. You don't have to do that page. Oh, look, mommy's a hero because you don't have to do that page. You do need to filter stuff that's coming towards your child. You do. And that's part of the reason I home educate, is because I realized that I couldn't filter anything if my kid was away at school all day. So you pre-screen the workbooks and then you show them to your kids. So you can do this online too, because you can do a look inside. And then you show it to the child, and the child says, well, I really like the alligator on the cover. Okay, so you want that one? Yeah. Well, then now the child's invested because he picked it, right? And so you allow them to choose from the ones that you've pre-curated, and then you're the hero, and they're invested. Got it? Okay. So workbooks are a very simple way to get started on the journey, because they make it very easy for you and they make it very easy for the child, and it's all organized and that kind of thing. You pick the workbooks. How do you know what your child needs? Well, start with the basics, and then, like you did last week, you reached out to some homeschool families, and you start to develop a homeschool style. And your style needs to fit your kids too, but your kids also need to fit your style. So there's a compromise. You come together over this, and it is an ongoing process. So please don't think that you're going to get everything organized and it's going to be perfect, and you're going to have math from 9 to 10:01 every morning, and then you're going to have from 10 the 4-minute break, and then from 10:05 to 11:15 every day you're going to do blah blah blah. No, in fact, that's the joy of the home education experience, is the freedom that you get. So remember that as you start this, that your decisions are not set in stone. They are guidelines and suggestions. And as you proceed, you will get better at refining them and tacking when you need to tack and shifting when you need to shift. Okay? All right. Thanks for watching. Go to my website. Sign up for the newsletters, okay? And get yourself a copy of Teach from Love, and buy one for a friend. This book has helped so many families. They love doing it. You do it as a family. It's really simple. It's one story a day. It's not written down. I don't believe you write down to kids, but it's fully child appropriate all the way up through teens. It's a little short story, either from the Bible or not from the Bible, with a Bible verse, with some really good questions. So this one is Search Diligently, and it's what great things could you be missing because you aren't diligent enough. So it encourages diligence in your child. How could you be more diligent in your time alone with God? And it gets the kids to think, because we ought to be engaging our children in thinking, which is something that we are sorely lacking in our culture today, is not only the desire to think, but the ability to think. And so on this endeavor, I wish you great luck. I think that if you take this journey, it will embolden, empower you, and bless you in myriad ways that you can't even imagine. All right, thanks for listening. Subscribe, please, and I'll see you next time on The Accidental Homeschooler.